All right, everybody. Dana White's Contender Series returns on Tuesday night, and one of the rising stars to come off of that show is getting ready to headline Noche UFC in September against Diego Lopes. Let us welcome John Silva to the channel. John, how are you, sir?
Just fixing it up. Fracture Mike. I am not going to fight him. I'm going to beat him up.
Fair enough. My first question is during International Fight Week, during the UFC Fan Expo, UFC X, you spoke with my colleague Jose Youngs and you stole his earring. So I'm curious if you still have the earring, and if so, are you taking care of said earring?
Tá guardadinho, só que minha mulher não deixa usar, não.
Listen.
E ó, aquilo lá não era brinco de argola, não, só pra avisar. Aquilo lá clips.
So listen, first and foremost, yeah, I have it. It's tucked away. It's really nice there, but my wife did not let me wear it. Okay. And also, that was not like an earring. That was just like a clip. That was a clip on. Okay.
I'll tell Jose that. But listen, you fought on the Contender Series in 2023. You earned your UFC contract. You sort of jump-started this incredible run you're on now. When you think back to that night, what did that all mean to you? What did you take away most from your Contender Series appearance?
So that was the hardest thing. I actually talked about using a reference mic that he has used in other interviews. Probation period. When you're in a company for 90 days in a probation period in Brazil, we call that an experience period in a company. So that's that is the hardest experience period or probation period you could ever have for a company, right? I know it's just a one-night affair, but it is the hardest experience or probation period you can have for something. They're evaluating you for everything, and it was hard, and I passed. And it was great, and then here we are. It was an amazing night. All kidding aside, I'll tell you, it was the culmination of everything, because everything I dreamed of, everything I worked for, everything I envisioned, everything I've always wanted culminated in one night, and it may be that's why I'm here, right? So everything that I've always wanted to happen has happened since. Changed my life, and has enabled me to actually just be on my path, and that's it. At the end of it, right now, fighting on a main event, and then at the end of the year, to be your next champion, because that's what I'm going to be.
That fight with Kevin Vallejos was one of the best fights in the history of the show, and you've obviously had some UFC fights, and you've looked really good in those fights. Do you feel like that fight on the Contender Series was the toughest fight of your career to this point?
By no means. Listen, as I said, it's a 3-month probation period, one night. You can't just go out there and just knock the guy out and not show anything. You need to show Dana, need to show Hunter, need to show my manager that I could do things, and I need to impress. I needed them to give me a standing ovation afterwards, and you and then show people that you can get business, get stuff done, and handle your business where you're there. That's what you do. But that's by no means just left Kevin Vallejos back there. I mean, listen, he's all the way back there. Let's not worry about him. As far as I'm concerned, he's my son there.
Fair enough. And now you have this big fight with Diego Lopes. You're main eventing a big card for the UFC in San Antonio. I just saw you were watching Diego, I believe his fight with Alexander Volkanovski. You called him your son before we hit record. How excited are you for this opportunity to headline this card and to fight Diego Lopes?
Só vou corrigir de novo. Pode parar com esse negócio de luta aí. Não tem esse negócio, não, tá? Eu vou nocautear o Diego Lopes. Cara, o que me empolga é saber que eu vou ganhar muito dinheiro. Eu vou comprar relógio novo. Quem sabe eu não compro mais apartamento, mais carro.
First of all, let's stop with this whole thing calling it a fight. I'm beating him up. That's it. It's a win. Listen, what one of the things that excites me is just that it's getting that bag as well. It's rising. It's getting bigger every time. It's just an opportunity to get a new watch here, maybe get a new car, maybe get a new apartment. So I'm just that's one of the reasons why we fight as well. So it does excite me, because that's a good different kind of bag out there. But as far as the fight, or being there with Diego Lopes, there's some things that are for sure. Is that I'm gonna get translated up in that octagon afterwards. Is that Dana's gonna clap? Is that Bruce Buffer is going to announce that I won another fight? Then maybe Volkanovski will be there and just come up or be able to watch me and say, "Hey, that's I'm next." That's what's going to happen. Those things are for sure.
I mean, you're watching this fight with Lopes and Volkanovski right now. What are you taking away from Diego's performance here? How would you grade it against Volkanovski?
So I would give him a 10. I'll give him a 10 because you know what? Throughout the week or been before, in all of his interviews, he said, if I win, he said, if I win against Volkanovski. And that's what he did. He went out there and the if was there. So he delivered. He had a great fight. He handled his own business, and it was just an if. And Volkanovski was talking in your interview, for every interview, I'm going to win. I'm going to be a champion again. I'll get that. And that's what he did. So I'll give him a 10 because he delivered on his promise. The if is part of it. The if is part of his life. Just like now, he said, listen, if I win, he's been talking about this, my fight, in the fight against me, if he wins, he feels that he could fight one more time than fighting for the title. So listen, if is part of his vocabulary and is part of his life. So I give him a 10 because he delivered on a promise or on just being if.
When this fight goes the way you believe it will, and you said you're hoping Volkanovski is there to watch it, even if he isn't, are you next? Are you undeniable at that point? Are you fighting Alexander Volkanovski next?
Eu acredito que eu vou ter todas as credenciais possíveis para disputar o título. Mas eu também tô tranquilo. Eu sei que a minha próxima vitória, depois dessa vitória em cima do Diego, é campeão.
I believe I'll have all the credentials to be vying for a title and fighting. That's what I believe, and I'll have earned the shot at the title, regardless of who it, because I do not know, and I can't tell you that it's going to be against Volk or someone else because something could happen. But what I know is that after this fight, I'll be fighting for a title. And if you ask any fight fan after my win against Diego Lopes, everyone's going to say that I should be fighting for the title. Just wanted to correct myself, Mike, because he went on a long answer before. He did mention something about when you said what excites him. Talk about Diego being a very emotional guy, and he's going to love to play with his emotions during that fight week.
Last thing I wanted to ask you, when Diego fought Volkanovski, you fought Bryce Mitchell on that card, and it was a big moment for you. You finished him. And it was also a big moment for Bryce Mitchell's career because he realized in that fight with you, I'm not a featherweight. I should probably go to 135. And he did. And he got a win over Said Nurmagomedov a couple of weeks ago in Abu Dhabi. What did you think of his performance, him dropping down to bantamweight and getting a win?
Well, it's not just him, Charles Jourdain as well. They just moved out. And it's funny that all these guys have basically, they go out there, they go on to do some other things, and they go out to beat other people. And they're not fighting convincingly. So I understand that Drew Dober was an exception there. But I mean, most of these guys go out there and have great fights and get good. Basically, I'm showing. And it made me even think about Bryce. I mean, Bryce, again, I've said this before. I do not like the person, don't like what he stands for, but I admire the athlete, and he is a great athlete. And again, he's the guy, as he said, he left Ilia Topuria with a black eye, right? Basically. So he held his own. So basically, it's given me, that's what I'm saying. It has given me credentials. It's proving to people that I have the credentials to be a champion. It's just all is a matter of just executing them and for the UFC to just put me out there to prove my credentials. Basically, that's it. It's just, I know that I don't think I'm the best in the world, that people look, you need a chance to be the best in the world. I am the best. I'm not amongst the best. I am the best in the world, and I'm going to prove it when I'm a champion.
Well, big things happening for you, John. This whole UFC road kicked off with your win on the Contender Series. New season kicks off on Tuesday night, season 9, which is kind of wild to think about. So check that out, and maybe another John Silva will emerge. I don't know. You're like a unicorn, John. So thank you for the time. I appreciate it. All the best to you in this. I was gonna say fight, but this win over Diego Lopes. I don't want to get you upset.
Obrigado pelo carinho, obrigado por fazer parte do meu sonho, por estar me trazendo até aqui. Sempre sonhei.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the platform. I've always had, this dream of, being in the greatest platforms in the world, and just to have the opportunity to talk as well and to show myself. And I think that I have to thank the UFC and everybody. It's been able to deliver on that. And thanks again for the congrats, and let's go for the win against Diego Lopes.